Hey Liam, een dagje later dan dat er gepland was, maar hier komt de video over de spinnen aan. Have fun!
Welcome to Fearless. I'm here to help you overcome your fears. Fearless is not a game, it's an experience based on the ideas of exposure therapy or systematic desensitization. That means we'll go gradually, at your own pace, and you'll always know what's coming next. Before we begin, I'll have you fill out a few intake questions along with your email on the TV screen. It should only take a couple of minutes. Welcome to Fearless for Spiders. We're going to start really easy, and I'll help guide you through the process of gradually facing your fear. I'll always tell you what's coming next, and you'll be able to go at your own pace. Before we begin, I just want to ask how afraid you are of spiders. You can tap now and then answer on the following screen. We're going to begin with a cartoon drawing of a spider on the TV. Please tap when you're ready. Not too bad, right? Now, as we move forward, the most important thing you'll learn is that a little bit of discomfort or anxiety is good, as long as you use it to your advantage. We'll get into more detail later, but the basic idea is that when you successfully face your fears, you'll learn to overcome them. Whereas when you shy away from your fears, you learn to be more afraid. Don't worry, the next step is just a big version of the same drawing. Go ahead and tap. Before we move on, let's talk a little bit about your fear of spiders. First of all, you're in good company. More than 35% of people are afraid of spiders. In fact, it's one of the most common fears. You may be afraid of getting bitten, but you also may have any number of other reasons for your fear. You may be freaked out by the way they look or move or their legginess. You may be nervous about how your mind or body will react when you see a spider. You may have had a traumatic experience, or you may have picked up the fear from your parents. You may not know exactly why you're afraid of spiders, and that's completely normal too. Next is a more realistic drawing. Go ahead and tap when you're ready. Let's say this drawing makes you a little anxious. Normally, you might react by looking away, leaving the room, concentrating on another object, or thinking about something else. Try not to do any of these things. Whenever you avoid the thing you fear, your brain never learns that it can handle the anxiety, and that the anxiety will gradually decrease if given the chance. If you feel anxious or uncomfortable at any step, try to embrace that feeling and wait for the anxiety to decrease before continuing. You don't have to go to the next level right when I finish talking. If you do need to stop at any point because you are feeling overwhelmed or you get interrupted, the most important thing is that you come back and continue. Otherwise, you're just reinforcing your fear. If you leave and come back, you can quickly tap through the first levels if you don't need them anymore. Now we'll look at a photo of a spider. You can tap whenever you're ready. Sometimes it helps to learn a bit about the thing you're afraid of. This is a photo of a yellow garden spider, which is common in the US. See the zigzag pattern in its web? That's called a stabilimentum, And many spiders make a design like this, although we're not completely sure why. It may help attract insects or male spiders for mating by reflecting ultraviolet light. It also may be designed to make the web more visible to birds so they don't fly through it. I want to quickly show you one more photo of a more elaborate stabilimentum. Go ahead and tap. Even if you hate spiders, maybe you can appreciate the evolution that went into such a creation. Next time you see a spider web in real life, try to look at it more closely than you normally would. As long as we're learning about spiders, you might be wondering how dangerous they really are. Well, it may surprise you to learn that only about 5 people in the US die each year from spider bites. That's 10 times less common than deaths by lightning. In Australia, there have been no spider deaths in more than 35 years. Very few species of spiders are dangerous to humans, and most spiders prefer to keep to themselves. While it may be helpful to learn that spiders are not very dangerous, usually that isn't enough to get over your fear. Generally, you need to learn from personal experience that you can be in the presence of a spider without anything bad happening. That's why we're here. Now it's time to face a real spider on the table. It's very small and will stay on the far half of the table. Ready? Go ahead and tap. This first spider will stay on the far half of the table. If you're feeling uncomfortable, that's okay. Let's try to stay on this level until your discomfort decreases to a minimal level. It's important that we give your brain time to learn that it can handle and even become comfortable in this situation. Now, let's talk about some things that could prevent your brain from learning to handle the fear. A lot of people, when faced with something they fear, engage in something called safety behaviors. Safety behaviors are simply things you might do to avoid having to face your fear head-on. Let's say you encountered this spider in real life and felt anxious. What might you do? Perhaps you would move farther away from the spider or leave the room. Maybe you would kill the spider or ask someone else to kill it. In our present situation, you might lean back in your chair, or you might tell yourself that the spider is not real. If the levels get more intense, you might take the headset off and choose not to come back. All of these behaviors make you feel better in the short term, but they also rob you of the chance to get over your fear. So, as we progress through these more challenging levels, try to avoid safety behaviors. Embrace the fear. By the way, this may be the first time in a long time that you've seen a spider and not immediately tried to avoid it or kill it. That's a huge step. So, if you don't mind, I'd love to ask you just a few questions along the way. Your responses will be recorded using your built-in microphone and sent to us so we can improve the fearless experience. If you prefer not to answer, you can just tap instead of talking. Tap for the first question. I'm interested to know how you felt about that spider. Did you feel uncomfortable at first? Did your discomfort decrease after some time? You can add as much detail as you'd like. Thanks. Next, we'll let the small spider walk around closer to you on the table. Tap when you're ready. Let's give the spider some time so it can walk towards you on the table. Try not to lean back or move away. Pay attention to the way your mind and body are reacting. Is your heart rate increased at all? Are you tensing up or bracing yourself? Is your breathing more shallow? Some people even start feeling a bit itchy. All of these are common responses to fear. It doesn't mean you're going to have a panic attack, and it doesn't mean you need to give up. These responses will start to decrease by themselves after some time, but you can help by taking deeper breaths and relaxing your muscles. Remember, you are much larger than the spider. Even if they're walking near you, that doesn't mean they're trying to get you. Try to take some time on this level to get comfortable with a spider walking around close to you. You're doing really well. Keep it up. Take your time on this level. If you're feeling good about this spider, we'll try increasing the size. Take your time and tap when you're ready to proceed. This is a pretty decent sized spider. Think about the last time you encountered a spider this large and how you reacted then. Even if you're uncomfortable, I bet you're reacting much more calmly this time. Previously, I suggested that you focus on the spiders. However, you may have noticed in the past that when you see a spider, you want to watch it constantly to make sure you don't lose track of it. What I want you to do now is to intentionally look away for a bit so you can get more comfortable without knowing exactly where the spider is. Try looking up at the ceiling, and I'll tell you when you can look back down at the table. Keep looking up. Okay, you can look back down. Let's try that a couple more times. Ready? Look up at the ceiling now. And back down. Good. Once more, we'll try 10 seconds this time. Look up at the ceiling. Halfway there. And back down. Well done. When you're ready, we're going to look at another species of spider. This one is twice as large but moves a little slower. You can tap at any time. You may be having a strong reaction to this spider, but at the same time, are you feeling more confident that you can hang in there, and that you'll become more comfortable after a little while? That's the key to this whole process. We only have a couple more levels, and you're doing fantastically. But just because you get to the end doesn't mean you'll be immediately cured of your fear of spiders. There are a couple of important things you need to do. First, you should come back and go through the levels at least a few more times. You're welcome to skip through some of the earlier levels quickly. You don't have to wait for me to finish talking. Make sure to spend extra time on any levels that you find harder. Practice looking away from the spiders like we did previously, and make sure you're not using any safety behaviors. Second, and this is very important, you need to practice these techniques next time you see a real spider. Chances are it will be smaller than the one you're looking at now. So next time you see a spider, start by not immediately trying to kill it. Instead, observe it for a while. You can start from a distance and gradually get closer as you become more and more comfortable. Once you've gotten more comfortable with this very large spider, let's try a small spider that moves very fast. It may be a little startling at first, but that's okay. Tap when ready. You may feel little jolts of anxiety when this spider moves, especially when it's close to you on the table. If you can, try to let go of the need to know exactly where it's going and allow the spider to do its own thing. Actually, let's practice looking up at the ceiling again. Look up now. I'll let you know when to look back down. Okay, look back down. How did that feel? Let's do it again. Ready? Look up. Keep looking up. And back down. Good. By the way, a lot of people find this to be a pretty difficult exercise. If you're finding it hard too, I encourage you to keep practicing for a while on your own before going on to the next level. Next, we'll have multiple spiders on the table. The current one, as well as some of your friends from before. Tap when ready. We're getting pretty crazy now. You probably haven't encountered a situation like this before, but it's good to push yourself a little farther when you're trying to overcome a fear. After this, maybe seeing a little spider won't seem so bad. Take your time, as always. You're doing really well, and in fact, we're almost at the final level. Can you imagine your reaction if we'd started with all these spiders at once? That shows how far you've come in just a short amount of time. Tap when you're ready, and I'll tell you about our final level. There's a spot marked with tape on the ceiling. When you're ready, a large spider will start there and slowly descend on a thread. I think you can handle it. Go ahead and tap. Alright, the spider is descending from the ceiling. Now that you've come this far, if you encounter a spider in real life, you should take the time to observe it and become more comfortable with a spider in your presence. And remember, make sure to come back a few times and go through the experience again. For now, congratulations on facing your fear and getting through all the levels. I'd like to end with a few more questions if you don't mind. Tap for the first one. Do you feel any improvement from when you started? Do you think you'd be more comfortable around a real spider? Any other details would be great as well. Do you have any general or specific feedback about Fearless so far? I'd like to congratulate you once again on facing your fear of spiders. If you're feeling better about spiders now, that's incredible. If you're still quite uncomfortable, and if this experience was difficult for you, that's a sign that you're pushing yourself. Well done. Make sure to come back in a day or two and see if it's easier next time. I bet it will be. Good luck, and see you soon.